So it is 12 o'clock.
All righty.
So I am excited to welcome all of you here today to our Team Women, virtual Team Women Talks with Annie Meehan, who's going to be sharing her insight on the joy of missing out. What a perfect topic for all of us. We're so happy all of you are here. Just for the benefit of all of you listeners, and we have 57 and more joining in, I want to share that this is a webinar and this is going to be recorded and it will live on the Team Women MM website, so you can view it afterwards. And again, we're just thrilled for you to be here. For those of you that are new to our organization, I always love to share just a little bit more about who we are and what we do. And then maybe for some members that haven't tuned in for a while. So I'd love to remind you of the things that we have going on. We're staying active during this time of isolation and working remotely. So our mission is we inspire women to rise together. And so we're so excited to be able to come together with all of you here today. You know, we are a membership-based organization and we have already 650 members, and our membership is really diverse. They come from all industries, from construction, from financial services, healthcare, nonprofit, military, you name it, accounting, we've got them. And you can see from the participant panel, some of you might be friends. And then they serve in a variety of roles. We have about 40% of our members are that director level on up to the C-suite. About 30% are managers and collaborators, and 30% are entrepreneurs and independent consultants. So, and we always have people in transition. So Team Women is just a wonderful organization for you to connect with and to meet others. So we're happy that you're here. We have 3 pillars to allow you to connect, grow, and be inspired and make a difference. Our mentor program is fantastic. We actually have 2 cohorts a year, and our next opportunity for you to enroll in our mentor program is May 6th. You can either join us as a mentor or mentee. And it's just a powerful experience to share your life's journey with somebody else, a trusted ear. Our mentees, we've seen them rise to the C-suite through this 12-month relationship. We've seen mentees join corporate boards through this relationship. We've seen them change lanes mid-career, and we've seen them re-enter the workforce. So you just, 82% of professional women point to having a mentor as critical to their success. And we're privileged and honored to be able to have a strong program for you. So please check that out. You can apply online. We also, leadership development is a key pillar of ours for both professional women and youth. We do about 40 live events a year. And now with our virtual platform, a lot more. So we're excited about that. Our leadership conference, which will have 800 members or people attending, men and women, is August 7th at the Hyatt. Our Wavemaker, fingers crossed, our Wavemaker Awards is planned by our Young Professionals Advisory Board. We do have a Young Professionals Board too. So because grooming that next generation of leaders is key to all of us, our hearts. So our Wavemaker Awards is October 22nd, and then our Empower Rising Stars Gala is November 12th. And that's our fundraiser that helps support our work with youth leadership development. Our virtual platform, which is the blessing that COVID-19 did for all of us, to us at Team Women, has allowed us to really quickly pivot. And now we have some fantastic speakers. Thank you again, Annie, for being here today. But coming up Friday is Dr. Jo Lichten, who is a wellness speaker. She's actually going to be speaking at our leadership conference too. And her topic is staying healthy, sane, and productive during trying times. Kind of perfect for all of us right here, right? So that'll be Friday at 10. And then Alyssa and Lucas Henriksen with Gray Search and Strategy are going to be talking to you about how to prep for virtual interviews. Boy, video is the way of the world, and if you're not comfortable, this will be a great conversation for you, whether it's an interview or just a presentation. And I'm using this all the time for for TeamWomen, and there's many applications. The video platform is useful, so it's nice for them to share their expertise on that. Stephanie Getz is an Emmy award-winning journalist. She'll be speaking at the end of the month on communicating with impact and developing your authentic influence, so you won't want to miss that. And for our youth leadership, we're so privileged to be able to offer 4 weekly sessions for our kids, 6th through 8th grade and 9th through 12th grade. And they're online sessions offered Tuesdays and Thursdays, now open to boys on Thursdays and non-gender specific kids. For them to listen to a coach and interact with a coach, one of the top-notch coaches that's going to be coaching kids on staying positive, developing that positive mindset, how to work remotely or study remotely, how to be isolated, how to work and thrive in this period of time where we're all isolated and away from others. I mean, it's affecting all of us professionally, but boy, our youth really too. They're missing out on that big part of their childhood. So we're happy to be able to help and support them. We wouldn't be able to do our work without our fantastic annual sponsors, and we're so grateful for all of them. In addition to our amazing leadership conference sponsors. So we're very, very grateful, and we're happy to be able to offer these virtual programs free of charge this month. And it was just a great opportunity for us to dive into this market. But we welcome your donations and your sponsorships. We want to work together with you, grow with you, and help solve any of your organizational issues. One quick question, Amy said, are all the youth leadership seminars different? I.e. Tuesday, Thursday for girls, should they plan to attend both, or is it a choose one a week? Hey, choose them all. They're all different because we have 4 different coaches that coach on a different subject matter each time. It could be on gratitude, positive mindset, working remotely, bouncing back, resiliency is a big one. The Thursday sessions are just for boys. I mean, boys and girls, so girls can go at any of those. So thanks for the question. So now I'm delighted and honored and privileged to introduce my friend, seriously, who made a huge impact on my life personally. So I'm so grateful for your book, Be the Exception. It was just that came at the right time of my life. I read it and I was like, wow, I love it. This is perfect. So it helped. But I'm going to introduce Annie, and I'm going to read her introduction so I don't miss a thing, because it's really important for me to get all this. And it starts out like this. Intro for Annie. Let me begin with a few questions. Do you have word choices? Do your word choices have impact on the people around you? Are you an influencer looking to better yourself and your community? Could you use some actionable tools to remove obstacles that get in the way of living your best life? If you answered yes to any of those questions, you are in the right place. Our speaker today previously worked in investment banking for 9 years, owned and operated 2 physical fitness franchise locations, grew and led a direct sales team of 250 plus people. She's an award-winning author, has written 5 books, and has spoken internationally. She's a board member and past president of the National Speakers Association Minnesota chapter. Congratulations, Annie. And when not speaking, Annie can be found volunteering in the community, traveling with family, and walking or being walked with Peanut and Leo, her 2 little dogs. Help us today to live an exceptional life. Please join me in welcoming from Burnsville, Minnesota, speaker, award-winning author, and human pineapple, Annie Meehan.
Oh, good afternoon, ladies. And if there's some gentlemen out there, thank you so much for joining us today. I am beyond excited to be here. As my career speaking and traveling the world came to a sudden halt on March 13th, right after a speaking engagement, everything has turned around, right? And this presentation, and because I'm so excited you guys are here, I just want you to know that even though I don't get to see your smiling faces, which I would love to see, I did shave my legs for you. So I just want you to know that's the kind of love I have. I got dressed up. I don't get dressed up every day because I think we're in a time where there shouldn't be any shoulds. I think you should do you. And if that means living in your sweats for a few weeks, do that. And if it means getting up and getting dressed up every day, do that. but there's no right or wrong answer. And this presentation, JOMO, is a presentation that I gave last November. Of course, I've tweaked it a bit, but I gave it to about 300 meeting planners last November because it was about the joy of missing out in a world where we live a lot of FOMO, the fear of missing out, and we try to do everything and be everything, and people were burning themselves out. And so I did this presentation last November, and when Katie invited me to join you today and to do this presentation, I thought, I want to talk about JOMO. I want to talk about the joy of missing out. But before I do, what I'd like you to do is do a little exercise with me. So this is going to be an interactive presentation. Feel free to write questions, comments, thoughts in the chat box at any time. Brianna and Katie will be helping me keep track of those so I can respond as needed. But before we start, what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to think about the date, February 14th, 2020. Now, for some of you, Valentine's Day doesn't mean much, and for others of you, it means everything. But I find that out of all the days in the year, it is Valentine's Day that the most people articulate, at least, that they feel like they're missing out. They're missing out on the trip someone else is on. They're missing out on the romantic night with candlelight dinner and a dozen roses, not a half a dozen, and a steak dinner, and a gourmet, and a fancy. And as you close your eyes and you think about that moment or the moments between then and now, that fear of missing out. What if I have less than? What if I am less than someone else? I want to take you there first. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. I just want you to think about, what if you are enough? What if you have nothing? What if we're all on the same boat? I mean, one of the many things that I love about this moment in time is that it's kind of an even playing field. That it doesn't matter how much money we make or what color we are, what religion we are, what political affiliation, we're all the same. We all are in a time of volatility, whether we're still working from home, or not working at all. The playing field has been evened out. And what I wanted to share with you today, in the joy of missing out, is I wanted to talk about how are you staying healthy. And I like to think of health in 6 different ways. I'm not really wanting to give you much content today, and here's why. When our brain is stressed, when we are feeling overwhelmed, the last thing we need is tons of more information. I feel like I'm on information overload. I don't know how many of you have had the opportunity to watch the Facebook Live I put out last Friday, but what I talk about is 2 important things. Stop doing 2 things. 1, telling me how to be. None of us need to tell each other how we need to be or look or act. This is uncharted territory for all of us. For a lot of different reasons. It's affecting us physically, emotionally, mentally. It's affecting our relationships, our finances, our spirituality. And so for me, my invitation today is maybe just let yourself be however you are. Maybe just be kind and gentle to yourself, and don't let all those outside voices tell you how you're supposed to show up, how you're supposed to get up. Some days I just curl up in a ball and take a bunch of naps or watch silly TV, Other days I get up and I want to be productive and I get to work. But it's up to me how I'm feeling, and it's not up to other people to judge. And the second thing is, don't minimize. One of my dear friends, Donna, who does a lot of work in grief, says those words, at least, actually steal. They steal from us, because at least says it's not as bad for you as it is for me. You might have that, but at least this didn't happen or that didn't happen. Well, let me tell you, this has been a roller coaster of emotion for me, and I'm sure it has been for many of you as well. From having all my contracts from March 13th all the way through October either be postponed or rescheduled or put on hold has been a devastating impact on my finances. Will I be okay? Of course I will. But am I allowed to be sad and grieve that? Of course I am, as are you. My youngest son, who's getting ready to graduate May 9th from college, he's an engineer. He takes his weekends and works all weekend. Is he gonna walk in commencement? No. But luckily, his mom's a speaker and is giving commencements. So whether he likes or not, I get to be his commencement speaker. So I get to do that. There's joy in giving your own son's commencement. But do I get to be sad about the loss? Of course. And so do you. But there is joy in this. I'm not saying don't be sad, so please don't hear that. Because there's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of loss and change and unknown. But there's also joy in all of this. And so what I'm hoping today is I can show you the 6 ways that I think about health and then how to find joy inside those different areas. I joke with my husband that he's always saying, honey, I miss you. I want you home more. I want you to myself. I'm like, geez, did you have to come up with the coronavirus to get me home? Holy cow. Maybe that's not a good idea, honey. He's like, I didn't do that. So anyway, you know, being home, there's some good and challenging things about that, right? Another thing, whenever I'm teaching, I always like to use movies to teach. And I was thinking this morning about 3 movies that I wanted you to think about. The first one I've probably seen 1,000 times, and it's You've Got Mail. How many of you have seen that? Raise your hand if you've seen that movie, right? Put your hand in there. Yes, we've seen that movie. I've seen it 1,000 times. But there's a moment in that movie when they're stuck in the elevator. And they all say, if I ever get out of here, when I get out of here. And that's one thing I was thinking about. When this changes, what's the one thing you want to go do? What's the one thing you want to stop doing and putting pressure on yourself to do or to be like someone else? What's that one thing? Do you remember that movie, that scene in the movie? Then there's another movie. This is an 80s movie. Maybe they both are. And it's called Parenthood. It's before the show was on TV. And she finds out she's pregnant with her 4th child. And she is scared and excited and afraid. And Steve Martin's her husband. And he gets frustrated with her. And he's like, everything in my life is have to. She said, honey, you know, what about the rest of us? Are we have to in your life? And the grandmother later says, life is a roller coaster ride full of ups and downs. We're all on a journey, right? So allowing ourselves to feel that journey and to experience that and to look for the joy in the midst of the struggles. And the last one that I sing a lot is Aladdin. And it's a whole new world, right? Jasmine sings, it's a whole new world. And this is a whole new world for us. So I just want to honor that. I want to recognize that. And then I want to hopefully help you think about what are some of the joys in this? What are some of the good things that are happening? Because we got some good things happening. In the midst of some sad and scary and unknown, we have some wonderful too. So the way that I think about health and being a gym owner for 12 years, owning 2 different gyms over 12 years, is that I never helped anybody lose weight, ever. Many came to me to lose weight. But what I help people do is change their habits and their mindset. And a side effect was often weight loss, right? But when we think about being healthy, one of the first ways we think about is physical health. I believe health has 6 different areas. So I think you have your physical, your emotional, your mental, your spiritual, your relationship health, and your financial health. So when you think about those 6 areas of your life and you ask yourself, is there joy in the midst of this unknown, in the midst of these changes and scary times? Is there joy? I hope that you can find some joy in them. And so first I thought about our physical health. So I don't know about you, but, and somebody wrote the other day, you know, I always say I'm too busy to work out, which is many people's excuse, right? We don't have the time or we don't have the money to join the gym. But I go for walks once, twice a day. I try to go down on the treadmill in the morning before I go work out. And I was seeing so many more people out walking. What are you doing to physically find joy in the midst of this? Let me tell you, when I go for walks, I notice the sunrise and the sunset a lot more than I used to. I have slowed down a bit. I heard the birds sing even louder. And when I look around me, there are so many more out there walking with me. And there are kids playing at the park, not with the coach, but with their family, playing baseball and laughing and juggling. There are people out there engaging in life. I turn on the music around here, and trust me, you guys, some of you are used to my weirdo-ness. My husband, even though he's been with me almost 30 years, he can only handle so much weirdo-ness. I got the music cranking. I'm dancing around the kitchen. Oh my goodness, it feels good. So write in the comment box, what are you doing to physically find some joy during this time of transition? I am seeing so many more people be intentional about moving their body in their house and outside of their house. Gyms are closed. Yoga studios are closed, right? So what are we doing to be intentional? And yes, we are grateful for the sunshine, right? The sunshine feels good. And I'm a little bit over the 50 mark, I will just say, and I'm learning to cook new recipes I have never cooked in my life. I am trying new things and I am loving it. I'm cooking more than I've ever cooked because there's no happy hour. We're not going out to dinner. I am cooking more creatively and more expandedly than I ever have before. So what are some of your guys' ideas? How are you staying healthy, Katie? What are we seeing in there?
Oh my gosh, the chat's on fire. Great
I
ideas.
love
Yeah. So we've got yoga from Molly, Rachel, lots of walks, Catherine, bike rides around the lakes, Jackie, a lot of nature time, hiking, calling my mom more. Oh, that's a
Mm,
good one.
mm.
Lisa Huey, where did she go? Very early morning walks. Fabulous.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
Other Lisa walks with the family playing games together.
Yes.
Terry running and then again walking with my husband. That's been awesome.
Love that.
Jackie reconnecting with friends. Julieta taking the sun.
I
So
love that. I love all that stuff that you guys are doing. And that's what it's like. I want people to just pay attention a little bit to what is happening. Somebody said walking with their husband. My husband and I, when we first got married, before we had dogs, we literally walked every single night after dinner. We were super intentional about it. And we would go for walks. We would leave the kids at home and we would talk. We would connect, unplug from the rest of the world and talk to each other and be present. And that has happened again. And we were just talking about it yesterday. Like, you take that stuff for granted, right? When we're moving so fast, we sometimes take for granted. And the next area I was thinking about, which some of you are already commenting on, is emotional health.
mm,
How are you doing on your emotional health? And a big thing on mental and emotional health for me right now, personally, and as I talk to others, is permission. I want to give you permission. I want you to give yourself permission to cry, to
mhm,
laugh, to be sad, to grieve, to celebrate, to recognize that this is taking an emotional toll on us. And sometimes that emotional toll is, I'm so excited to do a virtual presentation. Oh my gosh, I'm so sad to not get to see your beautiful faces,
mm,
right? Sometimes both emotions are happening simultaneously, that we're feeling the joy and we're feeling the loss all at the same time. And this is one of my tools, so I like to share it. I'm not saying you need to get my book, but I want to share it with you. So I wrote this book for a company. They were celebrating 100 years in 100 years in business, and they bought 150 copies. And I joke about, if you've seen it before, it was my favorite book to write because it's blank. And those are the easy books to write, right? But I had already sold 150 copies. But really, the directions are on the first page. And this is a gratitude journal. And so I'm encouraging you, for your own emotional health, what I'm encouraging you to do is, whether you get this, which you don't need to, or just a pad of paper, what has helped me with my emotional health is that in the evening, it can be early evening or toward the end of the day, I like for people to write down, this is a Be the Exception gratitude journal. And Be the Exception gratitude is a little bit different than your traditional gratitude journal because there's actually 3 parts to it. So I think that a gratitude journal is a great idea. If you have not started doing a gratitude journal, basically what it is reframing your brain to think about, what am I grateful for today? So I write down 3 to 5 things that I have been blessed with today. I had food, I had shelter, I was able to do a virtual presentation, right? And I think that if you live a grateful life, that is going to be a really good life, right? If we think about that every night, it kind of helps shift our mindset. And when we're thinking about our blessings and what we have in our life, we can't live in gratitude and fear at the same time, right? So I encourage people to do that. But what my journal does a little different is, when you get done with that, what I invite you to do is 2 more steps. And the next step is, I want you to write down 1 or 2 things you gave away today. What did you give today? Did you give a word of encouragement? Did you give a smile? Did you go help someone out? I put out on my, I live at the bottom of a cul-de-sac, and I used to do these Easter egg hunts for my whole neighborhood. We had 700 plastic eggs, and I would stay up late, and all the couples in the neighborhood, we would hide them all over, and churches would call me and say, how do you get more kids in your neighborhood than we're getting at our church? But this year, my husband said, honey, you cannot fill those and put your hand on everything and put them out there. It's not safe. So what I did is I put my bin of all my 700 plastic Easter eggs out on my cul-de-sac with a sign, Happy Easter, help yourself, take these. And people are bringing them home, washing them up, filling them up with love notes, with money, with candy, and hiding them in their own yards. And I can't believe the number of people that have come down into my cul-de-sac and like, thank you so much, thank you. It lifts my spirit. But I love to give, because I think when we go from just gratitude, which is about us, to generosity, which is about other people, we go from a good life to a great life. And I don't want anyone to be stuck in good. I want you to live a great life. But because I've had the privilege of speaking at Grand Casino, I thought, how could I encourage people to live a grand life? And this is what I like you to do. I like you to go from first, what are you grateful for, to then, what did you give away? From a smile to a word of encouragement, to sending a love note to someone, to making that time for a phone call, to a grand life is about expanding. So watching a TED Talk, coming to a presentation, reading a book, expanding your friend circle. I've been doing a lot of virtual happy hours and trying to invite random people, especially single people, that might feel even more isolated, whether we're an introvert or an extrovert. this takes our toll on all of us. Whether we're type A or type B, we're all being affected by this isolation piece. Even the word social distancing, there's a bit of, we are created to connect. We're created for community. Maybe not all the time, but we are created to connect, right? And so growing is about inviting people in. It's about growing your mind. I think that's how you go to a grand life. Expand your mind, expand your encouragement. So for your own emotional health, give yourself permission to feel, and then track what you're grateful for and what you can or have given away throughout the day. It's really powerful to think about what we do have control over during this time. So how are you taking care of your emotional health right now? Feel free to chime in. It looks like there's a lot of comments in there, Katie. So let's get a little bit of feedback on that one.
Yeah, for sure. In fact, there was a great one from Marissa, said, Annie, I love this addition to gratitude regarding what do I give away today? Thank you. So she was really excited about that. Heather loves your books and journals. Let's see, we're getting more comments. Visit Lisa. I can't see, maybe it's Lisa Brewer, visiting and doing lessons with my Bible study ladies every Tuesday morning. Fabulous.
Awesome.
Yeah, Chris D, playing virtual hearts with friends. So this is about, Laura Boyd, coaching young kids through TeamWomen Empower. Yeah, that's a great give-get, right?
That's right.
Yeah, that's a good
right.
one.
And as we give, we do get, right? Like I get to put those plastic eggs out and watch them in my front window as little kids are coming down and moms and dads with baskets and bags and filling up eggs. It brings me joy to give, right? Like we want to give. We want to know that we're being a difference maker in the world. I was saying one of the hardest parts about this isolation and social distancing for me is that I don't get to be around people. And when my Facebook Live Friday came out, I had the most views I've ever had. I have over 1,300 views on it. But it was the comments. It was people writing to me saying, thank you for your words. I needed these words. Thank you so much for speaking what I am feeling. Thank you for giving me permission. And so I think that we need each other, right? Whether it's a note or it's something online, whatever it is, like we need to feel like we're being difference makers, but that we're still connected in the midst of this.
Here's a great one from Michelle. They're all great, but
Okay.
I just saw this one. We have a single use sales representative in our Houston office who just moved to Kansas City. She sends her notes each day as she feels lost and lonely. I received an email from her mother today thanking her. So how awesome is that? We have a lot more too about sending notes and cards every day from Robin. And Lisa Huey says a virtual happy hour. She loves to stay in touch that way, but no alcohol required. So you can come whether or not you drink. So that's being very inclusive. Sheltering in place has also meant cleaning in place at our house. I've given away to neighbors and friends boxes of kids' clothes, games, toys, etc. Totally filled my heart. That's from Marissa. Susan, remember to reach out and wish my Jewish friends a happy Passover. Starts tonight. Great idea. Yeah.
Great idea. Great idea. And I love what Katie said there. So initially, I work with a lot of people in recovery, and initially everyone was kind of doing these happy hours. And I started saying, okay, we cannot call everything a happy hour. Like that is not drinking more, which unfortunately many are turning to because it feels like that's part of they used to go to happy hour. So now they're doing this, but it's just connecting, right? So we do a virtual game night. I love the virtual Bible study. That's awesome. But for my family, I have a son in Wisconsin, a son in Iowa, and a daughter in the western suburbs. We do Sunday night dinner on Zoom together.
Oh, nice.
And so it has always been my fantasy and dream to have my kids come home every Sunday for dinner. And now we're able to do it through Zoom. And it's been such a gift and a blessing. And what I recognize is if everybody was living their normal life, they'd be too busy to show up every Sunday. And so whether it's dinner or games or coffee or Bible study or happy hour, staying connected, right? That it's not exactly the same, but I still have seeing your face, connecting people. And I think about spiritual health for me, it's always been an important prayer for me, whatever your faith is I love the serenity prayer. And it's about God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courageous to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I think in this time, that prayer for me encompasses wisdom, serenity, and courage, right? Because there's some things I can change every day. there's many things I cannot. And so when we think about what we're in control of, and for those of us that are type A extroverts, go-getters, hustlers, as some people say, it's really just a great reminder as we slow down, what am I in control of and what am I not? I think that more people are tuning into church online and Bible study and prayer time and reaching out to their Jewish friends and all different denominations to say, we are one body of people that wants to be healthy and whole. And how do we love and care for each other through this? One of my neighbors did notes and hearts in all of our mailboxes, and we have a decent sized neighborhood, and he did it because so many little kids are taking walks and they want to do a scavenger hunt. So this week is hearts, and next week is bunnies, and the week after that is Easter. I mean, they have all these different things, and just flowers, just encouragement. And so when we think about that slowing down, emotional health and mental health, like one thing, I'm so grateful for all of you showing up today, but if you hadn't, I would be okay, because I think we're kind of on overload, and we have to also give ourselves permission to not connect and to not learn and to isolate a little. My daughter, TeamWomen is what I was at their second event ever at TeamWomen. So I've been a part of that journey for a long time. And then ultimately I was at their second event. Then my daughter started working for TeamWomen, and Katie came in, and then my daughter has since moved on to Piper, where I used to work. But our journey of just allowing ourselves to learn when we can, but also to shut down, is a great way to take care of your mental health and your financial health, which for me is in a new spot. I know it is for many of you, is we're not spending as much, right? And it reminds us, do we have to be on Amazon Prime every day? Nothing wrong with Amazon Prime, nothing wrong with going out to dinner or going out to activities. But I think that this slow down makes us reevaluate. What do I want to still spend money on and time on? And what is it okay to say no to? And part of the joy of missing out for me is permission. Permission to feel, permission to say no, permission to have a down day and not be productive, permission to do one or two things and take a nap, permission to work as hard or as little as I am up to that day. And that's what I hope for all of you, that you have permission to be who you are, to do what you want to do on this journey. And with our relationships, I think it's made us more intentional. As I schedule time with people on Zoom, they tend to be sitting in front of me and more present rather than doing three things at once. I tend to be more in front of people and present. I tend to slow down my pace as I walk, as I talk, as I teach, as I write. I have 2 more books in my head, but I have given myself permission to not write those right now, to not do that, to just be, to continue to serve my clients. I reached out to all my clients since 2015 and said, how can I serve you? And I gave them a list of options, from top 10 to doing a commencement for a friend or family, to videos, to blogs. And they said, thank you for just asking, not delivering. So if you're a person that wants to serve your clients, make sure you get their permission. A lot of this is about permission first, so then you can give them what they need. Some people are feeling so overwhelmed and bombarded by information, and they don't know how to dig out right now. So my encouragement to you is give permission. So I think I've touched on all of those 6. So now is a time to have a little more interaction. I see there's lots of comments, so I'm sorry to make you put it on pause, but we've got our health. How are you getting healthy and finding joy in your health through this? How are you feeling healthy emotionally and giving yourself, finding joy in your emotions, experiencing, releasing, allowing your mental health, your financial health, your relationship, and your spiritual health? It is a whole new world, but maybe it'll be a whole better world at the end of this. Maybe we will come out more intentional, more kind, more generous, more loving and compassionate, that we are all the same person, just in different bodies, right? We all have feelings, and we all have hopes and dreams, and we all have been put on pause. But maybe this pause is a wake-up call to be even more intentional and loving and generous to those around us that used to maybe be invisible, but we see even more. So please share some of those. Katie, what do we have here?
Sure. So we have Terry Matson says she totally agrees with awareness on spending, etc. The fast pace has given us permission to really think things through and not just try to keep up. And she also said, I mean, slowing down from the fast pace. That's what she said. Yeah. Jennifer Chu says, yes, she's learned to be kind with myself, which is difficult since I'm an achiever by nature. Yes, she is. She's awesome. Yeah, we're so lucky to have her as part of the team. Let's see. Lisa Huey says, very inspiring. Thank you, Annie. Health, making my own food, no fast food, intentional eating. Really good. Susan Brower, while giving myself some space and time, I've also been taking some online classes that I put off because I was too busy, and that's been awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, Lynn says, how are people translating this health into their business health? How do you check in with clients without feeling like we're being exploitive? That's a great, great question, because the word out there is do not be selling right now, right?
Yeah. And I'm definitely not selling. I want to say for myself personally, it doesn't feel integrity. It doesn't feel like authentically Annie, which I really try to live out in my work and in my life. And so I don't want to sell. I want to give. My heart says to give right now. And people are reaching out to me and saying, I need what you have. Can you give me a video? Can you make me laugh? Which I will say this to you guys. Okay, so I had a lot of clients ask me for either inspirational or silly last week. And so I started with the silly. It is not posted on my social media, but if you want the silly, just email me at anniemeehan.com and I will send you the silly. It's a Loom video, and hopefully it'll make you laugh and smile, and you'll think that Annie is really quite silly. So if she can be silly, I can be silly. So let me know if you want that. Somebody asked you a great question in the Q&A. They said, was there a step 3? Yes. Step 1 is gratitude. And that is about, what we're grateful for, what's in it for us. And that's a good life. Step 2 is generosity. And that's about giving. And I think in giving and generosity, we go from a good life to a great life. And step 3 is grow. So it's grow your mindset by learning, grow your friend circle by including. A lot of people in Minnesota say Minnesota nice, but Minnesota lonely. People are friendly, but not inclusive. So my encouragement to you is include. As you gather online for a Bible study or a coffee or a meal or a happy hour, think of someone that's on your radar from your work or from your neighborhood that maybe isn't getting invited in, and invite them in. I will tell you that in the last couple of weeks, I have taught many people how to do Zoom and invited them in. They're like, I don't know how to do that. And so it's been really fun and encouraging to teach. So it's about when we go from growing our mindset and our friend circle, we go from a great life to a grand life. So that's what that third step was, grow and go to grand. So that was the third step. I wanted to respond. So I'm not selling at all, but I'm giving, and I'm trying to give by being somewhat consistent on social media. Again, giving myself permission to not show up. I would love to connect with all of you, since I don't get to see who's here or smiling faces either through email or Facebook or LinkedIn. I'm fairly active on there with blogs or videos or Facebook Lives. I love to encourage people, and just also to be honest about the challenges, because I think there is joy in this. And my husband and I had a really nice dinner on the deck last night. And, it's so easy for me to fill my schedule and to lose track of the people that mean the most to me, because I'm so busy being connected with everyone and so many people. So just being more intentional about family time. I talk to my mom every single day. She's 91 years old in kidney failure. She lives in San Francisco in senior housing. They have 2 cases of COVID in her facility. So she's basically in isolation, and she calls me every day and yells at me. So here's my advice to all you ladies. I met a woman on the plane when I was still flying all over, and she said all women over 30 should be wearing compression socks every day. And my mother wears those because of her kidney disease. But I decided to order myself a pair and her a pair about 3 months ago, or actually a packet of rainbow colored pairs. And she called me and said, these are way too bright. I said, but don't they make you happy? I am not capable of being happy, she said, which if you know my mom, that's a true story. But she texts me every day, or she calls me and says, put your compression socks on. I finally put a pair on yesterday. They were bright blue with pink flamingos, and I walked around my neighborhood, and you know what? It made me smile. And I don't know if it makes my legs feel better or not, but this doctor said if you're a woman over 30, because of heart disease and blood clots, it's really important to wear compression socks every day, whether you're sitting at home or going for walks. So that's a tidbit for you. Think about that. And there's colorful, fun ones out there. They don't have to be black and painful. So put some color on and take care of your legs. Taking care of ourselves. Like I find I'm drinking a ton more water. I sit in my office and I get up at least every 45 minutes to an hour and get another glass of water. You know, one thing that will help us physically be healthy is protecting our immune system. If you use supplements, get some good supplements, drink a lot of water, make sure you're getting enough rest. I listen to meditation every night now before I go to bed to just calm my mind from that fear and anxiety that if I had it before, it's certainly amplified. And if I didn't, it's present. So being kind to yourself and putting that good stuff in, I did a face mask. I put it on Instagram and scared some people. Doing some things to self-care and nurture yourself in this time, especially if you're a mom at home with young kids. I did homeschool for 1.5 years, and I know the challenges of that. So sorry, Katie, did you have a question quick?
No, I'm just looking at more comments from the group. Kristen Daniel says, what a great solution to a true problem. Minnesota can be lonely even after 18 years here. That's painful. So sorry, Kristen. Come to Team Women. You know, we have use our member directory, you know, connect with others. There's great resources that we have too. Stacy says, finding gratitude in being able to slow down and spend quality time with her kids. It's the little things like having our slow mornings to sit and snuggle in our jammies as long as we want. That is awesome.
They grow up way too fast. Enjoy those moments. I'm 28 and I got a 31-year-old, 25-year-old, and 21. I mean, they're gone, right? They outage you. They grow up. So treasure those moments. I see that our time is getting short here. So I know I won't get through all the chats. Feel free to email me at Annie@AnnieMeehan.com. But what I'd like to do, because I love to give, it's part of my own joy, is the first 5 people to put a number 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5 in the chat box with their address. I will mail you a book. So put your number and your address. The first 5 people to put a number and their address, at least if I can get that, or email me your address or something, I don't know. But I have 5 books and I want to send them out. I want to encourage you. I want to lift you up during this journey. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And does somebody have a specific question? Put it in the Q&A. Otherwise, I have one last thing to teach you to bring you some joy in your life. Yeah. Anybody else have a question? Sunshine on my shoulder. John Denver. Oh, sunshine on my shoulder. I can feel it right now. Okay, here's my thing. If I have not taught you this before, how many of you want to be better looking? Raise your hand. All right, you're all in there. I see you all. Okay, how many of you care about young people, especially girls? Raise your hand. I see all of you. How many of you are brave? And how many of you want to make someone laugh or bring joy to someone's life? I'm going to teach you how to take a selfie today like nobody else has ever taught you. Because people tell you, lean back. Yeah. I'm going to tell you, take that camera in front of you, turn it flat, and bring it in, bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. I want you to look straight down.
No way.
You need to get at least 4 chins in there. If you can get 6 to 8 to 10, you get that. If you got nose hair, that's like a double bonus. I want you to snap that picture. And if you're really brave, I want you to put that on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and say, Annie Meehan says, I'm good looking. Snap that picture and put it out there. And here's the deal. When people meet you in person, you're going to be so much better looking because they're going to think you look like that silly photo. Plus, you're going to inspire young people that judge themselves to not worry about so much what the outside is, but rather the inside. And number 3, if you're brave, you will post it. But if you're not that brave, you're only a little brave and you just want to give someone else joy today, I dare you to text that to someone and say, do I look good? I feel like I'm changing. So make someone smile, do it on social media, do it in a text, encourage someone, look for the joy, pay attention to the little things from birds to puppies. My dogs are so happy. They are the happiest ones. They lay next to me all day. I had to kick them out. They just love having me home. There is joy in this, but there's also heartache and hardship. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself permission to feel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I just feel grateful and happy and blessed to just be with you. It's been really hard to be away from my audience. So I love you guys. God bless you. Take care of yourself in every area. Take care of those you love. And please reach out to someone who might be feeling isolated or alone right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Annie. The chat's going crazy. We're so excited that you were here and you really did exactly what was intended, inspired us all and gave us some great things to consider and to do. So thank you so much. Everybody's saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. This, for all of you that are still here, this will be live on our website at the teamwomenmn.org. And then we'll also shoot you an email with the replay in it as well. All right. Everybody's going crazy. They love you.
I hope I can read all these chats. I want to see them. So
yeah, I'm going to save them. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you, everybody.